Yo, what is going on today, guys? I think you already know what time it is. Back here for another meta report. So we just had the largest Pokemon TCG Pocket tournament ever in existence, and let's just look at the data for the top 128 meta share. So Giratina Darkrai has finally been dethroned, bro. We have actually Decidueye Masquerada at the #1 most represented deck in top 128, being at 27.3%. Then we have the different Giratina Greninja variants. These are the Tapu Lele Snorlaxes. I'm gonna be honest, most of this is probably just Tapu Lele. Then at third place, dude, the king of the game, Giratina Darkrai, bro, 15.6%. It didn't have the greatest time, bro. It did not have the greatest time making top cut. Then after that, we have the Garchomp Rampardos, which, you know what, last week was the second most played deck, or like second to third most represented deck. And then we have Arceus Crobat behind, which definitely fell off back from the last Arceus. Then we have Greninja Oricorio. Then we just have a bunch of other decks below that. But obviously, like, these are the main meta ones. And so, yeah, just looking at the last data, bro, like last time it was Darkrai Giratina. Then it was Arceus Crobat / Rampardos. It was tied. And then after that, it was like Oricorio Greninja and then Tapu Lele tied also. So basically what happened is Tapu Lele became very popular, became the second most played deck. But because of that, people started playing Decidueye Masquerada, which is one of the best decks to beat Tapu Lele. So like Tapu Lele kind of like beat Darkrai Giratina a little bit, bro. And then it was like good in like the matchups like Snorlax and stuff. And then everyone was like, what? Everyone's gonna be playing Tapu Lele, bro. What if we just played Masquerada Decidueye, which beats that deck, which also beats Darkrai Giratina, which also beats Rampardos Garchomp. So it's like, yeah, Decidueye ended up being the most represented deck, which was crazy because like it was like one of the lowest played decks like last time in the top 64 breakdown that I talked on my channel. I could put like the two charts next to each other just to compare them. Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting. And then like let's just like look at some of the data too, like on the Limitless website. So just looking at the metagame, dude, I mean, this is kind of crazy. For the first time in history, I'm pretty sure this is the first time in history that not Garchomp, but Giratina Darkrai doesn't have over a 50% win rate. That could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is accurate. And I'm pretty sure, but like I said, I'm pretty sure that's accurate. Could be wrong though. But so, yeah, so the most represented deck was still Giratina Darkrai. I mean, not a surprise. A lot of people still think it is the best deck of the game. 556 people brought it, but bad win rate, dude. Obviously, and it was the third most represented deck actually in the top 128. Then behind that, we have the Giratina Greninja variants, the Tapu Lele, so that's the Snorlaxes, which were at a 50% win rate. You know, pretty good. You know, Tapu Lele, everyone was thinking is the best deck in the game. Then we have the huge surprise. I knew Masquerada and Decidueye was picking up. I knew it was a strong deck because, you know, I've been playing it personally myself since day one of the new set. But obviously, I don't think at the beginning of the set it was really good. But with the addition of everyone playing Tapu Lele, bro, everyone decided, yeah, just play Masquerada Decidueye. And you can see here as a 54% win rate. It's also the third most represented deck. You can see here at the 11%. And then behind that, we have Arceus Crobat and then Greninja Oricorio, like, and then the Greninja Garchomp Rampardos. So basically, look at that last week's data, bro. Giratina Darkrai are still the most represented. Then we had like the Arceus Crobat, which had a little bit of a fall off, but not as many people were playing it, bro. And then obviously the win rate was still pretty high for the amount of people. Then we have Greninja Oricorio, which kind of just like fell off, bro. I don't think it's doing as good as it was during the first week because it only had a 45% win rate. Then we had Garchomp. Then we had like these different Charizard variants, bro, which also didn't really do too good. I mean, not a lot of people brought them in general. It was only 2% of the people. But I think the craziest thing to just stand out, bro, is that one Giratina Darkrai was under 50% win rate, and then the Decidueye Masquerada was actually the highest win rate out of all the like decks that actually like a majority of people brought. Obviously, if you go down here, there will be like the Gengars and stuff, which is just I can't believe people actually brought Gengar and stuff. But yeah, so that is like the top 128 breakdown. So I feel like let's just go look at the top 32 because obviously top 128 is a big sample size. It was top cut, but like I kind of want to just look at like the numbers like thin down and just like kind of like see what happened to like all these decks. So just before we go to the top 32, I'll put the chart back on the top left just so you can see the percentages once again so we can compare it to the top 32. Okay, yeah, so now we're in the top 32. As you can see here, dude, Masquerada Decidueye is dominating once again in top cut. 13, more than almost basically half of the players in top 32 are playing Masquerada Decidueye. I am one of them, thank God. But then we have the Giratina Greninja matchups. which actually did pretty poor, but like their win rate was pretty bad in the top 32, being at 36%. We had Giratina Darkrai EX, which managed to get back to 50. Only 3 of them ended up making top 32, being the most played deck, and only 1 of them actually managed to make top 8. Then for like the other decks, we have like 2 Magnezone Oricorios, which actually ended up doing the best, ended up getting first and third. Really good matchup into Decidueye. So the fact that Decidueye was so strong, like, definitely was like I literally, bro, Oricorio and Magnezone profited because everyone decided to bring Decidueye. So like shout out to these people bringing this and like being like a really good anti-meta call, because like not a lot of people brought it, but like if you go back to the top 132 or top 128. Yeah, so let's just go back to the top 128. You can see here only 26 people actually ended up bringing Oricorio and Magnezone, and it only had a 50% win rate, bro. So like who, like these 26 people, bro, made the right decision, and then obviously 2 of them actually ended up making it through. Yeah, but then for some just like random like strangers, bro, we had a Solgaleo who ended up making it through, bro. We had the Gengar Tapu Lele, bro, which I was kind of scared of facing because I ended up getting destroyed by a Togekiss, which fortunately didn't make top 32, bro. I'm kind of just happy that it made top 32 because they beat me. I'm just a hater. Then we had a 1 Crobat Darkrai make it through, bro. So this one was one of the ones playing, like, I think people are trying to call it the Exodia deck. So the deck list was a Crobat Arceus. Oh, this one's actually not playing Giratina, surprisingly. Okay, they're playing 2 regular Arceuses. Never mind. This is not what I expected. I was expecting like Arceus, Giratina, Darkrai. But no, it's just a Crobat Arceus Darkrai deck, so that's surprising. I actually didn't know this made top 32, bro, so that's really cool to see. Then we had 1 Zard make it through. I feel like almost every tournament, bro, is just gonna have that 1 Zard. Then surprisingly, Masquerada Beedrill made it through. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I mean, Masquerada is a very strong card, and obviously Decidueye is a little bit better than Beedrill, but like Beedrill can be aggressive. Out of curiosity, did they run the non-EX Beedrill? Yeah, they actually ran a non-EX Beedrill, so you know, going like first with that Beedrill and have another Arcanine can be very fast aggression, and definitely can do some heavy damage in this meta, bro. So I think it's still a solid pick. Like obviously Decidueye is a little bit stronger because you get the bed snipe, but like there's nothing wrong with Beedrill. Beedrill's not a bad card. It's not over. It's just nothing insane, bro. It's just I've been saying that too. So really cool to see a Beedrill actually make it through. But obviously, you know, Masquerada probably was the hard carry. And then I think I maybe just skipped over it, bro. Maybe I talked about it, but like I think I was like talking about like a Gallade just randomly pops up, bro. I don't know how good Gallade is because I just don't see it, and then one makes top 32 in the biggest tournament of all time, bro. So it's like Gallade is just that weird card in this meta, bro, that I don't understand how to fit it in anywhere. But like shout out to them, bro. Shout out to actually still playing Gallade. Yeah, so this is the top 32 breakdown. Obviously, we can see here once again, just a quick summarize. Masquerada Decidueye was the most played, or the deck that made it through the most into top 32. Then the Giratina Greninja, most likely these are Tapu Leles. Like I could go look, see how many Snorlaxes actually. Actually, it looks like none of these were actually Oricorio. Or I mean, not Oricorio, but none of these were actually Snorlax. So doesn't look like Snorlax actually made the top 32. Maybe Snorlax is in Limitless is just being bad, but from this data, it is telling me that none of these 7 Greninjas were actually going to be a Snorlax Greninja. Yeah, so that was basically the meta, bro. Like, let me go back up just the top 32. I'll place the chart from the last week's top 64 next to it so you can see. And we talked about the top 128. We just showcased the top 32 meta breakdown, and you guys can see last week's. And I think it's time to go look at some winning decks, dude, and just see like the cool decks I made it through, like the Gengars, the decks I got like top 4, first place, second place. And yeah, let's just get to it. Okay, so this is the person who ended up winning the tournament, Narumi. Shout out to you, and let's just look at their deck profile, bro. So very standard Magnezone Oricorio deck with the Shaman. The Shaman is nice in certain matchups, and you know, just about that healing, especially against like these Darkrai Giratinas, to help Oricorio survive the Darkrai pings. Then, you know, to press research relief for the Magnezone, honestly, I'm not too sure if that's standard. I personally don't. I honestly have never really looked at a Magnezone or a Choreo deck, I don't think. But I think it's a really cool option to be able to have on Magnezone. Then just like a Mars, Cyrus, Guzma, 2 Pokeballs, 1 Pokemon communication for the consistency, and then the 2 giant capes. Besides the Lily, pretty standard like cards. Like I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Just a very solid deck, dude, especially with Decidueye Masquerada being the most represented deck. I mean, yeah, there's really not much to say, dude. You have Oricorio in the active spot attack, and you're charging up the Magneton with the Magnezones. and you have the Shaman probably somewhere on the bench the hill, and you have the Guzmas in case you don't want to attack into a Rocky Helmet. You have the Mars for hand disruption, and then because Oricorio obviously only does 50 damage, you have the Cyrus to bring it's like something back in with the Magnezone to get a knockout. So now let's look at the second place. So let's look at their deck list, bro. So this is their deck list. So they have a 2-1-2 line with the 1-1-1 Decidueye line. I really like this, and as you can see here, they have like the standard stuff I'm talking about, bro, which are like is like a necessity, bro. They have the 5-card package of the Erica, Pokeball, Rare Candy, Professor Research, and the Leaf Cape. And for their tech options, they decided to add another Lily, which I think is a very great choice, which is a card I'm thinking of adding to my Decidueye build personally. And then instead of the Mars, they went with the red card because they have the they have the Lily, so they probably want to use the Ericas in the Lilies and not have to use the Mars, and like basically think about like, oh, okay, which one do I use this turn? So like it's a pretty standard list. Like I said, dude, like they really only have the 2 attack options, bro, and they chose Lily red card. I think those are very fine choices, especially in this meta, because Lily helps you in the mirror match because you have an additional handling for the Masquerada Wars, and then the red card is just hand disruption for like every other deck that needs Rare Candy. Then this is the third place, which is going to be MVBDS. And let's just look at it in the deck builder. Okay, so it's the exact same list, actually. The only difference is I believe they are playing the Rowlet that does 20 damage for Leafage instead of the Snipe. Just to make sure I could... So this is the only difference they are playing. And I don't disagree with playing this one. Like, this one can be cool. Like, because sometimes, for like, I'm gonna be honest, like the Rowlet Snipes don't do anything, especially when like they're like Shaman is kind of meta relevant. So if you're expecting Shaman to be meta relevant, but like play this one, bro. Besides that, it's the same list. Besides that one Rowlet difference, which like kind of can make a difference, bro, but like not really. Like you rarely have Rowlet turn 2 of the Decidueye Rare Candy in this deck because you only have 1 copy of each. Some games it would be impactful, but like. It's just a cool little tech option, bro, to play this one instead of the other one. Then we can look at the 4th place runner real quick because they are replacing Magnezone, and let's just see if they have a different version. Okay, yeah, so they definitely have a different version. So instead of the, what's the word I'm looking for, bro? What is the word I'm looking for? Instead of the, Lily, they are playing 2 Pokemon Center ladies. They have 2 Professor Researchers still, the Cyrus, the Mars, and an Iono. So if we look at this one, they had a Guzma and Lily, and a Pokecom, where instead of the Pokecom, they're playing Iono. Instead of the Guzma, they are playing a Pokemon Center lady, and instead of the Lily, they are also playing another Pokemon Center lady. So similar list, obviously, with some key differences. Kind of like the Pokemon Center lady because you can use them on Oricorio, but obviously the other one did win. But I think at the end of the day, bro, I think they're both strong decks though. It's just always cool to like look at like decks, like especially like the top 4, because the top 4 was 2 of the same decks. Like there's 2 Decidueyes and then there's 2 Magnezone or Corios. I think it's just cool to like look at the small differences between them. So then in the top 8, I mean, it's just some other Decidueye list. We don't really need to look at any more Decidueye list. So we have a Giratina Darkrai, which was the only Giratina Darkrai to make it through at 5th place, James Cox. I'm pretty sure that's like a well-known person somewhere. I don't know if it's Pokemon VGC or Pokemon TCG, but they are a strong like competitor in like a different Pokemon genre. I know that for a fact, but let's just look at their list. Yeah, so they're actually not playing the Komala engine, and I'm pretty sure I saw them on Twitter, and they said basically that you don't need Komala to beat Oricorio. So you don't have the brick of Komala, which I kind of like, because I personally would never play the Komala version because I know that I'm gonna brick again lucky. But it's just a very classic. They have 2 Sabrinas still for Oricorios. They still have the 1 red, the 1 leaf, the potent Pokemon Center, Guzma, Mara, Cyrus. And then they have 2 Rocky Helmets, the 1 cape with the red card. So, I don't know. It looks like a pretty average Darkrai Giratina list, bro, for this day and age. So I can't really say anything too crazy. Yes, Giratina Darkrai have 20 million support cards. I guess the key thing to know is that they're not playing any potions because they're favoring actual supporter cards. So I guess like if you haven't played since Shining Revelry, you might be wondering where the potions are. And I just wanted to point that out. Then we have our Giratina Greninja, so like we might as well take a look. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be Tapu Lele, bro, to be honest. And where's the deck list? Yeah, Tapu Lele. Anything fancy? They have a red card instead of a Mars. Oh no, they have red card and Mars. Besides that, looks like a basic Tapu Lele deck, man. Looks like a basic Tapu Lele deck. 2 forms of hand disruptions for the gear, like obviously the Rare Candy decks, and the 1 Pokemon Center lady just for some nice healing. Okay, so yeah, that was the top 8. I think let's just go look at some of the like the cooler decks, bro. Like I mean, maybe you should look at the Sekiro guy's deck profile, bro. I don't think we need to, but let's look at the Gengar. I think everybody wants to look at the Gengar, bro, that we have down here. So make it all the way to top 32 with Gengar, bro, which is kind of crazy. I actually lost this deck on ranked, bro, like 2 days before the tournament, bro. So it's kind of crazy to see someone actually using that and getting all the way to top 32 with this list. Pretty cool. So they were playing this Gengar, which puts you to sleep for 70 damage. I probably do think it's the best Gengar we have. And yeah, the 70 damage can put you to sleep, bro. Very annoying. 140 HP, which is nice. You do live a Giratina attack. And you could put a giant cape on to live like something like a Giratina plus a Greninja. The 2 Tapu Leles, the 1 Oricorio, because this Oricorio does 80 damage if you have something that is knocked out for 1 energy, which is extremely strong for 1 energy. And then 2 press research. Obviously, I don't know, for consistency. Giovanni. I'm gonna be real. I'm not too sure the specifics of the Gengar Giovanni or the Tapu Lele Giovanni plays. Maybe Oricorio as well. But obviously, I do think Giovanni is a strong card. I just obviously don't know the like specifics for a Geo in this match. Then they have the 1 Lily for the Gengar, the 1 Cyrus because you know Tapu Lele can't bench snipe, 1 Guzma, 2 Pokeballs, 2 rare candies, 1 red card, and the 1 giant cape. So only 1 real form of hand disruption. They have the Iono, which sometimes can be hand disruption, bro. Obviously, you mainly use it for yourself. But yeah, I think it's just a cool list, bro. I really didn't expect Gengar, like, out of everything to actually make it this high in the biggest tournament ever. And you know, bro, mid-tier hero, bro, I'm happy you made it through, bro. It's always sick to see. And there was actually like I think like 3 Gengars in top 128. So like this person was the only person to make it the top 32, which is also like another cool fact. We gotta look at Gallade, bro. We gotta look at Gallade. Just out of curiosity. Okay, so 2-1-2 Gallade line, 1-2 Rampardos line with obviously the 2-1-2 with the Skull Fossil. Sabrina, I mean, it looks pretty standard, bro. I don't know, for consistency, Mars is hand disruption, Sabrina because you might want a Sabrina, and then 2 Lilies for Rampardos and Gallade. I don't think there's anything crazy. Yeah, I just wanted to see if there's any cool tech options. I don't really think there are. I think it's a pretty standard, like kind of like a Gallade list. Yeah, it's just cool. It's just cool to see it make top 32, bro. A deck that not a lot of people, bro, are really playing. So yeah. And then we like briefly looked at this Beedrill one, but like let's actually like take it into the deck builder. Yeah, so they have a 2-1-2 Masquerada with a 1-1-1 Weedle line. Obviously, they have no Kakuna, which is very interesting. And then 2 Ericas, a Sabrina, a Cyrus, 2 Pokeballs, 2 rare candies, and a Leaf Cape. Kind of surprised to not see a Lily in this deck, low key. Like Sabrina and Cyrus makes sense like with Beedrill, because you can Sabrina something in and like trap them in and prevent them from ever attacking. And then if they like do have an energy to retreat out, you can like Cyrus them back in, bro, and then basically make that Pokemon useless. So yeah, I think it's just a cool deck list. And why not? Let's just look at the Solgaleo, bro, out of curiosity, because it didn't make it this far. Okay, there's actually playing Cosmoan, bro. I've seen a lot of Solgaleo builds drop the Cosmoan, but it's a 2-1-2 line and then 2 Skarmories. They only have 3. No, they have 4 tool cards. I've seen some lists actually moving on to only playing 3. 4 is for the consistency, just Sabrina, Cyrus, Guzma. No Lily. A lot of Solgaleo decks really don't play Lily anymore. And I think the reason is because like there's just like a lot of situations where like the Lily doesn't really help you. Obviously, it can in certain matchups, but like overall, I think like the other support cards are just more useful. So yeah, it's just a pretty simple list, bro. It's cool that like, you know, that like there's like a little bit of variety in the top 32 besides, you know, like the top 3. Okay, so that was all the deck profiles in the top 30. So I wanted to look at, let's just go to the top 128 and let's go look at it. So we see here, we have all these, So let's see, where is it? Because there's one last deck I want to look at real quick, bro, and I just gotta find it. I low-key could just went to my matchups. Also, okay, there's this another Gengar player. I'm pretty sure they were low-key playing 3 Gengars. Yeah, so okay, this is one of the other Gengars. There's 3 of them. 2 of them were just playing the regular Gengar. This one was actually playing a one, like this one was playing 3 different ones, bro. So I think they were just really cool. Lily obviously for all the Gengars, disruption. A Dawn because they have the Giratina, probably mainly for the Gengar EX. And Pokemon for the communications, and only 1 top relay, bro. I just think it's cool, bro, to see all these, because like it'd be kind of weird because like maybe you wanted one, bro, and you got the other one, but it's just, you know, it's just something cool to see. And I guess I should mention, why is Gengar kind of rising up? I think it's a pretty good call against Masquerada Decidueye, because 1 Masquerada is going to have to take 3 hits to knock it out, and that's not even like counting a Lily, because you know obviously it's a non-EX Pokemon. Kind of the same situation with like Togekiss, because Togekiss you know, can do 170 damage with a Cynthia, and it's gonna take 3 shots for Masquerada. But like that's the deck I'm trying to find is a Togekiss deck. Okay, here they are. The Togekiss ended up getting 34th, bro, barely out of the top 32. As you can see here, bro, matchups. Or let me click on their player. They ended up beating me. This was a person who beat me. So 2-1-2 for Togekiss, 2 for Tapu Lele, 1 or so it's essentially like low key the same thing as the Gengar deck, which is playing Togekiss instead. But 2 Professor Research, 1 Cyrus, 1 Mars, Range Disruption, Guzma. Don't want to be attacking into like Rocky Helmets. Plus, you might want to get rid of a giant cape. Rare Candy, the 1 Cynthia only because you're not only reliant on the Togekiss, plus you probably want more space. 2 Pokeballs, red cards, so they're playing 2 forms of hand disruption with the red card in the Mars, and then just the 1 giant cape. So yeah. I literally got hit by 170 on my Decidueye, got knocked out by Togekiss, and that's how I lost the matchup. And yeah, it's like, dude, if you go second and you can get Togekiss on your second turn, bro, you're just gonna start doing 120 damage. You have an Oricorio in the back that's waiting to do an 80. It's just kind of crazy, bro. It's just kind of crazy. And just definitely the last deck I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so basically we had a surprise performance from my favorite deck, the Decidueye, breaking out and being the most represented deck, both in top 128 and top 32. We had a couple cool rogue decks, such as the Togekisses and these Gengars, making it into the top 128, with a 1 Gengar still making top 32. Then we had like the fall off of Giratina Darkrai. One of them still did make top 8. That is something you do want to note, but doesn't matter if Masquerada was the most represented deck or Oricorio and Magnezone, really good into the matchup because, like I was saying, for the other decks like Gengar, hard for the Masquerada / Decidueye to actually knock out like 2 Magnezones, dude. Because when you're doing like 110 damage, they will be able to 2-shot you. They will 2-shot you, and you have to like 3-hit them. Not only that, but it's also hard for you to knock out Oricorio, especially with these lists that are not playing Geo. So you have to 2-hit the Oricorios, and you can only use Masquerada. So if your Masqueradas get knocked out, and all you have left is Decidueye, you lose. Magnezone just had a great performance, bro. It was a perfect medical for the tournament, bro. And so that is it. I looked at all the deck lists. I looked at all the data. I hope you guys enjoyed. I really like doing the series. Might have been a little bit of scuff this time. I don't know. I hope it wasn't. I hope it wasn't, but like maybe it was. But peace out. Have a lovely day as always, and let me know how I can improve the series, and let me know if you enjoyed it.